Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Transformation Tuesday. So I've just come back from a relaxing 4-day weekend with my husband, actually. What I realized was I was really long overdue for some rest and relaxation. So if you're feeling really tired and that you need a break, it's probably a sign that you do need one. And 1 or 2 days away from your normal routine will make you feel like a new person. So I know for a lot of us, it's harder to get away at the minute. And so doing a different routine, even if you're at home to what you would normally do, is beneficial to reducing your stress and anxiety levels. So if you normally get out of bed, jump straight into work, if you go for a walk and just change up what you do will be really helpful. So today I'm talking about Norelle. And Norelle was a young woman, so 32. She had really itchy skin, her bowel was all over the place, she was fatigued and she had massive anxiety. So hi, I'm Ange Sinclair and I'm the Digestive Detective. Now Norelle came to me and she was pretty desperate to change her circumstances. And she said basically I was the last port of call, no pressure. She'd been to doctors, dermatologists, nutritionists and naturopaths, and nobody had been to get her the help that she needs. Hi Marie. So Norelle had guttate psoriasis. So she had her first bout at 16. And so guttate psoriasis is the second most common psoriasis. It generally happens after you get a strep throat infection or an upper respiratory infection, tonsillitis. Stress can trigger it, or a skin injury can trigger it. So it presents like the normal psoriasis with the plaque lesions, but they're little tiny spots all over you and they're very, very itchy and dry and they can scar. So she was really wanting to get rid of these. As a young girl, and she worked in the fashion industry, so you imagine that that's really, for her, they were quite unsightly. So she had amazing help with her diet. She was eating 80% plant-based foods and she'd removed a lot of trigger foods. Hi, Judith. So nightshades, eggs, dairy, gluten, all those sorts of things. She, with the help of somebody, had removed those already. She had been on super duper hard pharmaceutical drugs like methotrexate and prednisone, and she didn't want to go back on them. They'd helped in the short term, but they really hadn't helped her over a long period of time. And so for a 3-year period, she had been symptom-free. And she told me that there was a big correlation between her stress and how bad the psoriasis got. In this time in her life, she was really settled. She was quite calm. So it was quite a big period of time for her that she knew that she could keep that under control. So the bout that she'd had when she came to see me, she'd been struggling with for almost a year. And she'd been given steroid creams, which had made it better to some degree, like had taken the itch out of it, but hadn't got rid of the actual papules and stuff. So she acknowledges that when she has high stress and high anxiety, and because it was winter, a lot of the clothing could make it feel worse for her. So she had prescribed herself a lot of supplements as well that were the right supplements, but not necessarily in a therapeutic dose, and they weren't necessarily good quality supplements. So that makes a difference. If you're going to take the supplements, you only want to take it in a therapeutic dose that's going to make a difference for you. Otherwise, you're just wasting money, essentially. So her bowels were pretty loose and unpredictable. And the more her anxiety heightened, the worse that would happen. So her energy level at the start was about 3 out of 10. And when we finished, it was about 8 out of 10. Now, Norelle's not one person that I saw for a very long time. It was really quite rapid and quite quick, her transformation and her healing, because she'd done a lot of the work herself. So in fact, her energy was so good at the time we finished working together. She was training to run a marathon, essentially. So what we did was first of all, I worked on a couple of things. To get her bowels to normalize was the first thing we did. To bring back some of the trigger foods after we got her stabilized, to see if they would re-trigger another and we did that, and she had no lesions. My thing is, I never want people to be restricting food long term. So if there is a problem, I generally will take some foods out at the outset, but I want everybody to have them back over a longer period of time. So in her first 2 weeks with taking herbs and some supplements and just doing some small tweaks to her diet, her lesions improved by 80%. They were no longer really bright red and itchy, and she had them on her face, on her neck, up and down her arms and legs, on her torso. So they were everywhere pretty much. So in the first 2 weeks, the lesions had improved by 80%, which is a pretty, even I was shocked at how great that was. And so we continue to tweak with her diet a little bit more, and then increase some supplements to a higher dose to give her a really good therapeutic dose, and she saw further improvements. So with the herbs and the right supplements, we did use a lot of herbs for a couple of reasons. One, I was treating her immune system, because this is an immune system problem. And so it's not just about the skin lesions, it's actually an immune system problem because it's sparked when the immune system gets triggered off. We also put in some strategies for her anxiety, because anxiety is a lot of what's driving how her bowel works, and how she's showing up in the world every day. The more anxious she was, the more her skin would react. So we needed to get her to give her the right tools to improve how her body responded. So we've focused further going forward on her immune system, and to stop her from getting that chronic sickness that she would get, that chronic colds and flu that she was finding. So with her, great result, totally happy with the result that she got, and she was really happy too, because it takes a lot off a young woman's self-esteem if her skin looks really bad on something that she has no control over. So this was a way for her to be able to not only get better, but have control over, looking really good every day. So that matters when you're a young girl. It matters when you're an older girl too. So they're the things that when you're dealing with health conditions, that's what you should take into account when you're getting ready to do some work on them. They're the things that will help you stop struggling and get to the root cause really quickly and do the work really quickly. So if you're struggling with your skin or respiratory infections or trouble with your bowel, book in for a free 15-minute consult. So I can give you an action plan of where to go next. And for those of you on Facebook, the link is in the title. For those on you on Insta, the link is in the bio. And those of you on LinkedIn, it's in the comments. So I look forward to helping you solve your digestive problems so you can get on with your life. See you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.